Most of y'all know that, or maybe you don't know, I grew up in the Carolinas. I'm a Carolina girl originally. I grew up in Rocky Mount, and actually I grew up in Arlington Street Baptist Church in Rocky Mount. So any given Sunday, my sister would be playing organ and I'd be playing piano. So, I mean, I think it was a wonderful forum to grow up in, and it really has helped me later in life. So I'm going to do some of the songs from that. I'm going to talk about some of my musical background and where some of the things that I did that I've had a wonderful life musically, I really have, and I can't say that I regret any of it. It was wonderful. But my mom says that when I was 4 or 5 years old that I demonstrated an ear for music because I had a toy piano, and she said I was playing a melody, and she said, "That sounds like Jingle Bells. How do you know that song?" And I said, I heard it on the radio, and she said in the next couple of months or so, I was picking out songs like, Mary Had a Little Lamb, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, easy little melodies that I had heard my friends sing. And those were the days before kindergarten, so, you didn't know your letters, you didn't know your ABCs, you didn't know your numbers. And they tried to find a music teacher for me at that age, and nobody would take me because they said, she doesn't know her letters, she doesn't know her numbers, and she cannot reach an octave. If you know anything about music, octave is an 8-note span. And so they couldn't get a teacher to teach me until I was like 7. But when they did, I found a wonderful teacher who I stayed with until I graduated from high school. And also then she even taught me some when I was in college. But I later went to East Carolina and found a wonderful teacher there, as well as the Juilliard School of Music for a little while. Unfortunately, I wanted to see New York City more than I wanted to practice. And they thought 6 hours a day practice was minimum. And I thought that was a lot. But anyway, in the 1970s, I was in Mobile, Alabama. Excuse me, I had finished my music degree, and I thought, I need to get a job making some money. And I didn't know anything else except piano. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to some of the hotels and go to the lobbies and see if they'll let me play in the lobby, and while people are eating dinner or lunch or whatever. So I went to a place in Mobile, and they said, hey, that sounds like a good idea. So anyway, I got my first job playing. I was playing in the hotel lobby and at the Malaga Inn in Mobile, Alabama, at $40 a week. So, I thought that was really good. Of course, I mean, nowadays we'd want $40 an hour, hopefully. But anyway, that was some. And then after a while, I had a lot of people would come and say, I'm from such and such a hotel. Could you come and play at our hotel? So things just started happening where I was playing at different places. Somebody said, you need to get an agent. So I found an agent, and he said, you're going to have to sing the words. These people want to hear the lyrics. They don't want to just hear the piano. That's really nice that you play piano, but you got to sing. So I didn't really want to sing. I really like playing the piano more, but anyway, so I had to do that. But anyway, the 1970s, I was mostly in Alabama and the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, and I cut my first album in 1974 in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. And I worked with the famed producer Rick Hall, if y'all ever heard of his name, from Fame Studios there. And I was introduced to the Muscle Shoals sound, which was actually trumpets and trombones and saxophones. And it really, he knew what he was doing, no doubt about it. But he recorded Aretha Franklin and some of the rhythm and blues artists. So I had a chance to work with him. And then I later went to Nashville and recorded the rest of the album. So my first album is on display out there. Unfortunately, I don't have any of it. I used to have 8 tracks, but nobody has an 8-track tape player, do they? But anyway, a lot of the albums that you'll see displayed outside, I do not have copies of anymore. I mean, I have a few of the albums itself, but unfortunately, they hadn't been produced in CDs or anything. But that was the first of 10 albums that I have cut in studios. And I've done all different genres of music. I haven't recorded heavy metal or rap. So I'm not saying that those aren't good things, but I just never was wanting to do heavy metal or rap. Just never appealed to me. But there's some artists that do it great. But anyway, I've had a wonderful musical journey. I ended up in New Orleans in the 1980s. I got to work with Al Hurt and Pete Fountain and Armour Thomas and Alan Toussaint, who wrote Southern Nights for Glenn Campbell. Y'all may know that song. Anyway, some of the great people that I got to work with. I even got to take 900 children in St. Louis Cathedral, record a Christmas album, and we sold 25,000 copies of the album, but guess what? I gave all the proceeds to the Archdiocese, and I'm Baptist. I was Baptist then, but if they needed a computer program for the schools, and I thought, this is a good fundraiser. So anyway, I've had people contact me lately, as a matter of fact, said their child lost their copy and they wanted to know if they could get another copy of Miracle of Christmas, is what it's called. It's on display out there also. But anyway, by the 1990s, I had left New Orleans, and I had performed in Baton Rouge, and then you see, I'm making my way back to Wilmington all this time. You see, I've just made kind of a U-turn. And I had made my way. I was working in Nashville, recorded 2 albums in Nashville at Tree Publishing and Studios there with some of the real famous players. I got a chance to work with Charlie McCoy, who was a fine harmonica player. My friend Nell, who plays a wonderful harmonica, she knows he's one of her idols that she's listened to. And got a chance to work with a lot of great people. But while I was in New Orleans, I digress a little. I did get a chance to work with, like I said, some of those great people. I got to tell you a story about Al Hurt. One night I was playing at my club on Toulouse at the Stage Door Cafe, and I looked, and there was standing Al Hurt. Y'all know who Al Hurt was, the famous trumpet player. He had a trumpet in one hand and a scotch in the other. And he put the scotch down, and he said, he started snapping this really fast tempo. He said, all the things you are, in A flat. And I was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't believe this man, first of all, wanted me to play with him, and he was standing in my club and wanted me to play with him. So I was like a deer in the headlights, but it was great. But if y'all know, this is a jazz song called All the Things You Are. It has a difficult middle section, which we call the bridge. And I was like, oh Lord, help me remember the chord changes. But somehow I remembered, and we played it, and he loved it. So anyway, and I got to work with Pete Fountain. As a matter of fact, at my house here in Leland, I have one of Pete Fountain's clarinets that he gave me to put in one of my clubs at one time. So I wish I'd have gotten a letter with it when I got it. But anyway, but by the 2000s, I was starting to move up. Like I said, I'm moving up to the Natchez area, and the Concordia Parish School Board contacted me about teaching and their Gifted Talented program. And so I thought, well, why not? You know, I have a music degree, and I'll do that. So I got a chance to teach 500 children music, and that was so rewarding. It was more rewarding than playing in any bar or lounge I had ever gotten from. And it was so wonderful because I could see that I made a difference in their life, and that's what I really wanted to do. But 2009, my dad was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and we knew he wasn't going to be around for a long time, and he was going to turn 92 in July of the next year. And I decided to do an album for him of the old hymns that we used to do when he would fill in for the preacher because he was the head deacon. And like I told you, my sister and I'd be playing, and one night I was playing, and I was telling David about this earlier. I couldn't think of anything to play for offertory, so I played Born to Lose, the Ray Charles song. And my dad, when I got home, he said, what was that song you played for the offertory? I said, it was a new song, Dad. I didn't want to tell a lie, but I didn't want to tell him what it was. But he said, you know, it sounded a lot like that Ray Charles song, Born to Lose. And I said, yeah, it does have some of the same chords. So anyway, I got grounded for about a month, but anyway, my dad loved the old hymns, and so I decided to go back and do some of the old hymns for him. And of course, by this time I'd had the jazz influence from New Orleans, and I'd had, a lot of other musical influences had influenced my musical style. So I decided, well, I was going to do a song, some of the songs on my album that my dad would like. And I have to tell you that even though he had dementia, not really just the early stages, he heard those songs and he sang every word of every hymn. So I felt like it was worth it. But I'm going to do a couple of those for you today. I'm also going to do a new praise and worship song that I've just finished writing. And I'm getting ready to go in the studio soon and record. I've got about 8 of those I'm going to be doing. And I've got my latest CD also is in the lobby out there called Some Girls Have It All. I got a beach music song on there. I never knew I could do beach music. Debbie said, "Oh, this is a smoothie." I said, "I thought a smoothie was a drink you got at Dairy Queen." I didn't know it was a dance. But anyway, so I think God has just blessed me just so much, especially since I've been back in the Carolinas and back here. And I want to thank y'all all for being such a wonderful and loving church here and accepting me. But I'm going to quit talking and play. How about that? But this is a song, one of the first songs that I used to hear my mother sing around the house, and a song called "He Keeps Me Singing." And one of my favorites from the CD is a song called "Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus." And I was telling you about growing up in a Christian home in Rocky Mount. My mom and dad, if Billy Graham was anywhere close to our house, we were there. And my dad just absolutely loved Billy Graham crusades and his Hour of Power and his Hour of Decision, I think was the name. And so we were in Rocky Mount, so if they were in Charlotte, if they were in Asheville, or if they were in Columbia, Raleigh, we were there. And it was just a wonderful thing, if you've ever been to any of his crusades, just to see all the people there. It was just amazing to me. And the music was absolutely wonderful. And I remember the great songs of George Beverly Shea and the Cliff Barrows. What a great job he did with the choir. And one of the songs that I remember distinctly George Beverly Shea singing was "How Great Thou Art." So I played that for y'all here, I think, for homecoming last year, but I wanted to do it one more time just in case you missed it. Thank you, guys. Y'all are a great audience. I really appreciate you. Since I've been living in Wilmington, I've been waking up in the middle of the night with lines for praise and worship songs. And I've written, as I told you, I'm getting ready to go in the studio to do 8 that I've written. And this is one I was going to do for you today. And it's called "Let Go and Let God." And if y'all want to clap along, or if you want to sing along, you're welcome to. That's fine with me.
He is my rock, my song and salvation. I'll trust him and won't be afraid. I stay on this path of this life he gave me, with him in my heart all my days. Let go and let God. Let go and let God shepherd and guide you, live his life through you, live in your heart every day. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. Let go and let God lead the way. His love is so deep, so long and so wide. There's no place that my God can't be. When I lean on him, faith weakens the darkness. He's a constant companion to me. Let go and let God. Let go and let God shepherd and guide you, live his life through you, live every day. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. Let go and let God lead the way. Let go and let God. Let go and let God. Let go and let God lead the way.
That's the first time performed anywhere. It was for you guys. Thank you so much. And here's one that I wrote, not since I've been at Wilmington, but I wrote this earlier. But it's about best friends, and I hope you guys have got a good friend that you consider your best friend. Could be your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend or somebody in your life that a friend like you. By the way, this is on my latest CD.
You know what I'm feeling long before I do. I can tell you anything, so easy to talk with you. You're my shoulder to lean on. You know my hopes and dreams, always there for one another. We share so much, it seems. A friend like you picks me up when I'm feeling down. A friend like you accepts me just the way that I am. You don't have to pretend when you've got a friend. You've got a friend like you. When we are together, two friends heart to heart. When I want to let my hair down and really want to talk, you listen with concern and care. You always seem to understand. There's a special love in our hearts, 'cause you and I are friends. A friend like you picks me up when I'm feeling down. A friend like you accepts me just the way that I am. You don't have to pretend when you've got a friend. You've got a friend like you.
Thank you. Okay, I've been singing for you. It's time for y'all to sing for me. So I look at some people like, I don't know if I want to sing today or not. But anyway, Alma said that you guys might like to sing along on a couple of songs that you probably know, like Let Me Call You Sweetheart or 5'2". Do y'all know those? Anybody know those? Miss Jean, do you know those? She does. Okay. But anyway, I have the words just in case that I can go over with y'all if y'all need me to. But I think we know them. Let's do, what do you say? Let Me Call You Sweetheart. Okay. Let me see if I can get the right key here. Are you ready?
Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you.
Let me hear you whisper.
Let me hear you whisper that you the love light shining in your eyes so blue. Let me call you sweetheart, I'm in love with you. Give yourselves a hand, that was great. We're going to pick up the tempo with a little 5'2". Are y'all ready? 5'2", eyes of blue. Oh, what those 5 foot can do. Has anybody seen my gal? Y'all know this, come on. Turned down nose, turned up hose. Oh, those beautiful clothes. Has anybody seen my gal? Well, if you run into a 5'2", covered with furs, diamond rings, all those things, bet your life it isn't her. Could she love? Could she woo? Oh, could she coo? Has anybody seen my gal? Has anybody seen my gal? All right, y'all sounded good on that. Thank you. I had a request to do the very first song I ever learned to play on piano, but after Jingle Bells. But this was it, and I'm going to show you how it evolved from this particular first song into some of the things that I've done. And I'll see if you recognize this one. Okay, who recognized it? Chopsticks, yeah. I was the first kid on my block to put both hands together. Then we moved to New Orleans and I learned to play it like this. My parents decided that I had some talent in music, so they sent me to study at the Juilliard School in New York City. This is what I learned. Thank y'all so much. I hope y'all had fun today, did you? Yes. We're going to do a little Andre Crouch song, and when we all get to heaven to close out this show today. And I want to thank y'all all for coming, and thank y'all for singing with me. I appreciate that. I love each and every one of you. God bless you.